What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of you for Jujutsu Kaisen Season 3. This is episode 9, and with me, as always, I have Blue Spade.
So we pick up after the last episode in which Yuji is challenging Higurama to a fight to obtain the 100 points that he's accumulated. Um, so of course we since the end of the last episode, Higuruma activates his domain expansion, it's basically just like a trial for Yuji, which Higuruma Shikigami which I guess you can say it's the judge overseeing the case. Uh, the first one Yuji's charged with is entering a pachinko parlor while underaged. Um,
Also, the thing we should mention about Shikigami is that apparently it knows, like, all the crimes you've ever committed.
Yeah, and it contains all the evidence and uh all the all the I guess supposedly the witness testimonies of what happened
Yeah.
during your crimes. So Yuji tries to play innocent by saying that he only went to the pachinko parlor to go to the restroom, but you know the I guess the judge declares Yuji guilty because there's evidence that um, Yuji wanted to play in the pachinko parlor by showing evidence of him cashing out. Um, I guess you know. I,
I think it's the very fact, apparently, that he even entered the
yeah,
pachinko parlor, which was also, like, illegal.
yeah, because I think Yuji he was only 17 at the time, and you would need to be 8.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
he was
but you
underage.
still need to be like 18 years old. So there's that. Um, so so after the judge and Higuruma declare Yuji guilty, they confiscate his cursed energy, pretty much allowing Higuruma to gain the upper hand over Yuji during the battle. Um, but before
Yeah.
that, Yuji demands a retrial, and then they go back to that domain again, and this time he gets accused for mass murder of what happened in Shibuya, which of course immediately Yuji
Yeah.
confesses to being guilty.
Yeah, and this is also confuses Higuruma too because Yuji could have. This is a crime where Yuji could have actually made the argument that it wasn't actually him that did it because it was actually Sukuna that did all that, and that because he's being possessed by Sukuna. Um, but Yuji just decides to say he was guilty, probably because of his own guilty conscience. Like he feels like he's the one that did
Yeah, I
all
mean
that.
he's not he's you're not going to convince him otherwise as to what happened. You know, during the events of Shibuya. I mean he's always confessed to being guilty to this. So after this, the
Yeah.
judge immediately sentences him to death, and Higuruma is granted a sword to execute him. But but even after that, he this pretty much changes his stance toward Yuji's admission, pretty much being aware that Sukuna was truly the one responsible, and Yuji had literally had no control over what happened.
Also, like, we do get a little bit more about Higuruma and his backstory about how he was, like, offered the position of a judge at one point, but he turned it down because something about how he doesn't believe that people are, he believes that most people are just um I guess not worthy of redemption or something like that. But he kind of changes his stance when he sees that Yuji confessed to being guilty of these crimes, and he wonders why he would do something like that.
Yeah, and of course after that, he also gives his own they have like a one-on-one talk after this fight, which goes into a post-credit scene in which um, Higuruma decides to change the rule of the culling game, which allows other players to transfer their points to one another. So he decides to give 1 point to Yuji and then leaves, and then uh, he announces his intention to turn himself in due to the fact that he ended up killing a prosecutor and the judge from during the trial from the last episode.
Yeah, I guess he just took out his frustrations on the legal system in a way. Maybe once he got his jujutsu sorcerer
Yeah,
abilities.
and then
Um,
he intends to turn himself in because he knows of what he did. So that's where the episode
yeah.
ends from there. But I'm still curious if like this event will definitely have some implications towards you know Yuji's guilt over what happened during the events of Shibuya, because we do know that like ever since like the end of season 2, he's admitted to being guilty of what happened after so many people were killed uh, during that entire event, and he feels like he's still beating himself up over that fact. But after being told that Higuruma believes that he was not the one under control over that whole situation, that I don't know, maybe this will possibly like give Yuji a change of heart or something like that. But it's
Well, yeah, maybe like serve to maybe alleviate his guilty conscience, I
yeah,
guess.
and
Um, but
possibly as a way for him to
yeah,
go face to face against Sukuna the next time that happens.
yeah, um, yeah, and then there was also the scene where like he actually admits like he has killed
Hmm.
somebody before, so there's also the guilt of that as well. Um, but yeah, I thought it was just a pretty good episode, honestly. Like especially with how it gives us a lot more about Higuruma, and it's interesting because he hasn't really been in that much of the series, but he's a pretty interesting character. Um, and I wonder if we're going to see more of him in the future, even though he is going to turn
It's
himself in.
it's hard to
Uh,
say, but I really feel like his presence is going to affect Yuji a lot more in many different ways, due to him like just
yeah,
pretty much it'll. I guess this event will alleviate some of like Yuji's guilt in some ways, but yeah, as of right now, he still feels like he's still responsible over what happened in Shibuya.
hmm but yeah, I thought this episode was pretty good. It actually had some like really impressive fight choreography too, just with the fight scenes with Yuji and Higuruma. Um, and yeah, I thought it was like I said, I thought it was pretty interesting of how we got more about Higuruma and his backstory. He actually was a pretty interesting character. So it's a shame that he's probably just he's not really going to be in a lot of maybe the
Mm.
rest of this arc. But like you mentioned, he'll probably still have like a lasting impact on Yuji
Yeah,
regardless. That's kind of the case for some of the other characters that have appeared in the series. Like they didn't really last that long, but they had like a profound effect on Yuji's character. Um, but yeah, I don't really have anything else to say about the episode, though. I don't know if you have anything
yeah.
else to say about it.
Uh, I'm still curious of like what's gonna happen for the remainder of this season. I mean, we still need to catch up on Megami again, and there's also Yuta, which we haven't seen him in a while, ever since uh, everybody else split up. I mean, we've seen Maki deal with her business with his ending clan, and then now we're still in the middle of what's going on with uh, Yuji, Megami, and possibly Panda. No, I think Panda's like kind of split up from the group as well. So I think we'll likely catch
Yeah,
up with Megumi again, and then maybe we'll catch up with Yuta again. It's. I think there may be enough episodes to cover that.
yeah. But yeah, that yeah. So that all being said, guys, until next time, we will see you all later.